is brought to you by The Financial Educator, helping you take charge of your money and your future. Visit thefinancialeducator.co.za.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Money Matters, Voice to Cape 91.3 FM Stereo. And oh my, what a journey it has been. We find ourselves in the very first installment for the Money Matters program for the year 2026. It is an absolutely refreshing experience coming back after such a long time. We find ourselves to the 3rd of Rajab. Alhamdulillah, Ruwa, or not Ruwa, but what did I say? Little Barat. Friday, you can be expecting that to happen, Alhamdulillah. 1447, corresponding with the 13th of January. This evening, we delve into what I believe the 8th episode. Unbelievable. So, look, it's been quite a journey so far. And the message and the conversation with producer Conita today was all about how can we top up based off our conversations for the previous year. How do we become better? How do we become stronger, more informative, more invigorating, right? And obviously practical, which is another very important step. Please do help me in welcoming Brother Anwar Barense, certified financial planner, award-winning debt counselor, financial coach with 25 years of experience in banking, investments, and financial planning. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam, Imtiaz, and all the best for 2026, for you and the listeners.
Absolutely.
Hoping it will be a financially successful and prosperous year. We can maybe turn around or go for those goals and plan for those goals. And I mean, there's no better time than January to sort of rewire our finances and look at having a better year.
I love that. Rewiring. And look, the year started already. We spoke in so much detail and depth about preparing for the festive.
Yes.
We spoke about preparing for the silly season. We spoke about getting ready for when the time comes to spend like crazy. Now that season has passed us, the deed is done.
Yes.
We're not sure where everybody's financial position, financial status is at. Who managed to pinch the pockets? Who managed to invest? Who managed to save? Who managed to control?
Yeah.
Right? And withdraw in moments of urge. So those are the questions. And we'd like to know where everybody's sitting. I mean, it took us 6, 7 episodes into this conversation. So we really want to see where you are at, because we have quite a treat for everybody today. We're going to give a very brief breakdown on the previous conversations. Whoever is joining at whatever point in the program, we want them to feel as though they know exactly where we're going.
Yes.
Right? Even though it is a bold-on conversation, there are still things that you can pick up along the way as Anwar just drops key points in the conversation, alhamdulillah. Now, it's been a month since the financial fitness conversation happened. Brother Anwar will be taking into the next topic for this evening some key points that we spoke about, Anwar. Can you give us a breakdown on the key topics that we've been going through so far?
So just to recap, what we started on was that we're working with a 9-step framework to become financially fit, to get our finances in order, right? So where did you start with? Awareness, knowing your numbers and your financial journey. Where are you starting? What's your income? What's your expenses? How much you own? How much you owe? Understanding what your money personality is like. From there, we moved to the second step, which was identifying your goals and your values that drive that goals. In other words, how do we give our money direction? So step 1 was determining what is our current location. Step 2 was determining how do we give our money direction and purpose, right? With our goals and goals that align to our values. From there, we said, okay, now we need to plot the course. And how do we plot the course? By creating a budget and having control of our spending. and how we have a plan for our spending instead of reacting month to month that we covered, right? Then we went into our safety net, our emergency fund, our just in case of emergency break glass that we can have this savings to go to as opposed to having to take out new debt, which often costs quite a bit in interest, etc.
Yeah.
So that was the safety net. Then I know our very last show last year that you were off and we had our other brother presenting. His name just escaped me. We had quite a good conversation where we started getting to the conversation of a debt detox. But how do you tackle your toxic debt, those credit card debts, your loan debts, etc.? And in that conversation, we spoke about, getting your credit report, making a list of your debts, using a snowball or avalanche method. But we touched on briefly, and what we're going to go more into detail tonight was to say, what if that debt is so overwhelming? What is my options, right? So we spoke briefly about debt counseling, and what I found subsequent to that we had quite a few inquiries. And what I picked up by the inquiry, that there's a lot of misconceptions about what debt counseling actually is, how it works, a lot of misunderstanding. So given the state of the current South African, the average South African, what's the word you use, consumer, not my favorite word, that is in such a tough spot with, like we said, 75% of households concerned to be over indebted. I felt tonight we'll have a straight, honest, and open conversation about exactly what debt counseling is, so that those that have been held back by fear, but maybe they can actually benefit from it, that understand what it is, we'll explain who it is for, who it's not for as well, because it's not for everyone, it's for specific scenarios. But yes, tonight we will now carry on. So let's call it Debt Detox Part 2, where we're going to go a bit more into detail in terms of the debt counseling process, just based on the feedback we got on the last program where a lot of questions were raised.
Okay, wow. I mean, that's interesting. I really missed on a topic.
Yes, you did.
I mean, if it's broken down in two parts, must be a big one.
Yes.
What are the mostly misconstrued understandings that you refer to when you talk about debt counseling?
So I think a lot of the misunderstandings is, it is some type of scam, right? Or it is some type of way that's going to ruin my credit score forever, or it's going to repossess my cars. A lot of times what I find is the misconceptions come more from how the service is delivered, right? And we believe that we deliver a service that is more open and transparent than most of the options out there. But I think what I would want to just start the conversation with is why I feel it's important to have this conversation right now, right? So, like with last time, you decide, you know what, I want to start getting rid of my credit cards, I want to pay it. I mean, it's normal, because why? It costs you money. Interest can be anywhere from 10% to 15% to 29%, 28% on these loans. And when the interest is so much, it obviously takes longer and longer to pay back. Now, some will say, okay, I'm going to budget a bit and I'm going to put extra money in there. But what if you're in that situation where you budget, and despite budgeting, the budget is just not budgeting, right? So your loan repayments is supposed to be 10,000 Rand, but you can only afford 6,000 Rand. What do? You're coming out on a negative every month, right? So that is where debt counseling can be of help. Now, what we find, like I said, there's a lot of fear and misinformation around the process, and we'll go into that. And many people delay getting help because of myths or bad stories or something that they read. And tonight is about clarity and understanding, not pressure, not fear-mongering, just understanding what it is, plain and simple, and how we do things differently.
I see.
Yes.
I see. Myths, non-call center approach, practical example, debt review, removal. Those are like the key terms that
and I'm sure those that on social media see, on TikTok, see all these YouTube shorts and all these things, and at times it makes me curl in my stomach some of the things people are saying to be fact.
You are an award-winning debt counselor. How does one become an award-winning debt counselor?
Well, you know what? Let's discuss about how we approach, and then maybe in there you can understand by the approach that we take how it is different, right? So instead of me saying how I felt, let's describe what we do, and then you tell me that is something that you feel is something that is a bit better that's currently in the market right now. So I'll let you be the judge of it.
Okay, fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff. So, are we going to talk a little bit about the bad reputation in some circles?
Oh, yeah, we're going to get there, right? So let me first start off with what exactly it is. So let's start at the beginning. What
Okay,
exactly?
Let's rewind.
So,
let's go
yeah.
back. So, what is debt counseling?
Okay.
Exactly.
So what debt counseling is, also known as debt review. So often the terms are used interchangeably, right? So debt review is the actual legal process, name of the legal process where you where a court order is granted, etc. That now says you can fulfill new terms. Debt counseling is the process of whether that person qualifies for debt review. So let me explain these terms. So firstly, debt review is a legal process under the National Credit Act. So it's governed by the National Credit Act. And what does it say? It's designed for our favorite word, consumers, right? That are over indebted. Now, over indebted is a specific term saying that if you earn an income and after covering your essential living expenses, your food, your transport, all the things, your school fees, etc., that you do not have enough money to meet all your debt obligations.
Yeah.
So let's just say you earn 15,000 Rand. Your expenses are 10,000 Rand. So you only live with 5,000. But let's say your debt obligations is another 10,000 Rand.
Right.
You can then apply for debt relief, saying, hang on, I can't pay 10,000 Rand. Can I pay 5,000 Rand? Now that is where we start. So in that instance, when your expenses with the loan exceeds your income, you are what is called over indebted, right? What we can then do is we can restructure that debt legally through a negotiation with your banks or your various banks. And how we lower that payment is we actually negotiate a lower interest rate. So if your interest on your credit card is 25%, we negotiate the bank, say, listen here, Mr. So-and-so wants to pay back the loan, but let's reduce that interest rate to 5%, 4%, so that you still get your money paid back. But now what happens is your repayment that was 5,000 now becomes 2,500.
5,000, 2,500.
So typically, depending on the type of debt, depending on the amount you owe, the term, etc., your repayments on something such as credit cards, personal loans, store accounts can be reduced anywhere up to 60%, so half, sometimes how. They have very high interest rates. So when you cut that 29% interest rate to 2-3%, your payment can more than half. Something like your bond and your car, that interest we can cut down to below 9%, provided you meet certain criteria. So if you're paying 11, 12, 13% on your bond and car and you cannot afford those payments, we can bring it down to below 9% with a net impact that you can be paying anywhere from 20 to 30% less on your car and bond payments. Real world examples, I have a client that had about 21,000 Rand in debt. We brought that debt down to 12,000 Rand. All the debt paid off in 5 years. Average interest rate was under 1%.
Wow.
So what happens, when you pay a loan, normally when you pay a loan, 90% of your money goes to interest. And you struggle to pay off the capital. Only eventually 50%.
In the system.
You're kept in the system. If you're over indebted, right, and you cannot pay the 10,000, so I can only pay the 6,000, we then negotiate lower interest rate, get that debt paid off in 5 years. Obviously not the bond, because the bond is much longer, but you're not paying forever. So you're paying less for 5 years. 90% of what you're paying is actually going to what they call the capital as opposed to interest. And that is how it works. That's all it is. Simply negotiating better terms on your loan so you can actually repay your loan with a lower payment. How? Through negotiating lower interest rates. Sometimes you do extend the term, but you use it only up to 5 years. So you can be having what amount of debt. The plan is to get you debt free in 5 years by cutting your interest as low as possible and getting as much as money to your debt while you're actually saving money on a monthly basis. So what does it do? It gives you room to breathe while still being able to meet your obligations to your creditors. So no repossessions of the vehicles, no repossessions of the homes, no coming to knock on your door, coming to claim to collect this, that, and the other. You get complete protection while paying less, and a clear plan, become debt-free. So what's important to know is that it is not a quick fix, but a structured recovery process.
Is the term guaranteed? Once you work it out with the
So
client.
what happens is there is quite a lengthy negotiating period. If we are successful where we can come to agreement with a creditor, then we'll have that term fixed. So if the client offers a certain amount and the creditor is happy what the client offers and we negotiate a successful deal, then typically we get that the term guaranteed once it's there, right? If the creditor is not happy what's being offered, then it goes to the courts. There the term might be longer, right?
Okay.
But what we look to do is, if you can only afford X amount, we work with that amount. So we don't do any cookie cutter approaches, right? If you say, Anwar, I can only afford 8,000, we then go for it and go to the kid and say, okay, what can we do with this 8,000? I know you're supposed to pay 15,000 or 16,000, but there's only 8,000. What can we do to ensure that we can still have this debt honored and have the debt paid off as well? So it's not about just paying a 500 Rand a month for the next 20 years. Because sometimes you get those arrangements, you think you're paying, but what's happening, all you do is just paying the interest. And you're paying and paying and paying and nothing ever happens. No,
Don't even know.
here's a clear path and a clear plot. And we also track you on an annual basis, on a half-yearly basis with your progress, right? We help set your budget up so you sustain your payment plan, right? And we walk you away from the start all the way to the end till the day you're debt-free. That is the process that we follow when it comes to debt counseling.
Wow. And you're saying that this you're only doing face-to-face?
Yes.
There's no...
Yeah. So my question is, what we do is, firstly, like you said earlier, there's a bad reputation in some circles. What we found is some of what perpetuated bad reputation is what some people call the call center approach, where you
Yeah,
treat
that's
it
actually the
like a
mix.
number.
That's
So
the
you
mix.
wanted to get into
Yeah.
that.
So just before we
Okay.
get to the bad reputation, inshallah, Mr. Lath, take us away, pay some bills, we'll come back and we'll get into what are some of the hidden circles that
Yes.
you're avoiding over there.
To you by the Financial Educator, helping you take charge of your money and your future. Visit thefinancialeducator.co.za.
And we are with the financial educator himself, Brother Anwar Barenson. We're going through a conversation on what he does professionally. This is aside from all the education and all the facilitation and all of the educating
Yes.
on financial wellness and financial fitness. But here's an actual practical exercise that you are
Correct.
doing with your clients that practically gets them out of debt. And if we were to look at, like you are saying, any Cape Town industry that you are referring to, it's followed by a bad reputation. And I want to know why that is, Anwar.
So the first thing I found out is poor communication in most parts of the industry.
Okay.
Right? When I looked around in Cape Town, I found little to no one-on-one, face-to-face debt counseling, where there was actual debt counseling. Right? And what I looked at, a lot of call centers, why the person you speak to now, that's one call center agent, then tomorrow you phone and you speak to another admin person, then a month later you try to get hold of someone you don't have to speak to. And think about it, when you're somebody that's under distress and you're trying to sort out your debt, you want to be speaking to the same person all the time so they understand your situation and your progress. So the first thing I found, and whether it be some of the smaller operations, even some big national companies, if you go on their rating, see communication is a very poor, is a very big issue because often the person is treated as a number. Let's be honest, right? What we also find is a lot of times clients are not fully understanding the process. Why? Because the person you speak is not actually a debt counselor or a financial coach. They're simply a call center agent working on a script, trying to close a sale, right? I've had instances where clients sign up for debt counseling in the space of 20-minute phone call. You're being put onto a 5-year program in a 20-minute phone call. When we look at our clients, our first meeting, just the information gathering, just to get an idea of what your situation is anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes. Just to find out, how did you get here? What is it that you owe? What were the habits? Did you lose your job? Are you a bad spender? One client got into debt because of online gambling. So we had to tackle the issue. If we don't address the online gambling issue, how are we going to address the debt, right? Some clients come financially, emotionally distressed because they've gone through hardship and they've reached in that personal life where they're not actually professional. We've had to refer them to actual counselors, people who are depressed, talking about suicide. So even in that, we have a network that we actually refer mentally distressed people that are in financial difficulty to counselors. That is where we go the extra mile. We look at the personalistic thing, and if you compare that, how can that be done by a faceless call center going off a script? All you're doing is maybe quoting what numbers you can do, but are you putting the person on a path of actually not just tackling the debt on numbers, but tackling the debt as a person? Are you helping them redo their budget? Are you helping them rewire their habits? Helping them set their goals? Because most people have goals, right? And maybe the goal is they want to go on Hajj, they want to go on a holiday, they want to do whatever, but they find themselves in such a big hole that they cannot see how can they get out of the hole, let alone go those goals. So with the holistic plan, we then say, remember, getting out of debt is just the first part. We actually want you to prosper and thrive beyond that. But without a clear path and without clear guidance to actually get you there and guide you there, how do you even get there? Now, the question I ask, how do you think is that service best delivered? With a faceless person over a phone, or with someone where you come to our office, we come to your home, we have a discussion. I mean, I've had discussions where there's been 3 or 4 family members because the consequences would affect the whole family. This is the type of thing we're dealing with, not just pumping out numbers to say we signed out so many clients over a 20-minute phone call, but we have 2, 3, 4 appointments before we decide what is the right action to take, right? Because it's something that must be taken seriously. It's not something you're going to sign up in a 20-minute phone call. Now, that is the problem we find, and we said is that call center approach cannot do what we find is required. And often we find clients that have dealt with the call center, and with this actually what I needed, because I needed to go in more detail. I needed to understand X. I needed to understand Y. And a lot of times, sometimes these call center agents have targets, and they're more concerned about hitting a target than actually helping the client, right? So that is what we do, what we feel the challenges were, and how we could address it. And we feel that has given us recognition in terms of the approach that we take. Is that we're taking the personal approach, we're dealing with that person not as a number, and we feel that what is lacking largely in a large portion of the industry. That we're treating like a person, not like a number. No call center scripts, but full proper assessments to understand your situation. Whether I'm sitting in your lounge like I was 2 days ago, or you're coming to our office and we're speaking there in confidentiality, whether it's you alone or whether it's half your family because everyone's affected. That is the approach we found people needed and was sorely lacking in the industry. Especially, we do find, to be fair, we have found in some outlying areas, your Free State, your Pretoria, your East London, that there is a lot more what they call face-to-face debt counselors. But I found in Cape Town there was quite a lack of face-to-face personal debt counselors, and that is where we saw the opportunity.
So if there was a lack, I was going to ask that, if there was a lack in Cape Town, then what prevented you from just going with the same stream and not necessarily doing it face-to-face? So like I said, I've been in financial service for close to 25 years, and I've always been a face-to-face because money is personal, finance is personal. Whether I was working in the bank, whether I was a financial advisor, whether I was a trainer, I always believe that people deal with people, right? And the only way you can really deal with people, especially a matter as into this, is face-to-face. Now, yes, sometimes I have clients that are in Joburg or clients that want to meet online. You still see each other online, so it can be via Zoom, via Teams, even via WhatsApp call, but you're going to see who you're dealing with, whether it's me or one of my fellow coaches. Mm-hmm. And what also happens is the person you speak to at the beginning is the very same person you're going to speak to throughout your experience till you become debt-free. You don't get passed from one agent to an admin, to a this, to a this, to a this. You have the one person, they will understand what the start of a journey was, and they will coach you all the way through. Keep up. How's your payments going? Let's go through your budget, what's happening, etc., etc. Make sure you keep up the good habits and don't slip into the bad habits. So you get the personalized coaching along with just the debt restructuring. So it's not just reducing the amount you're paying on the monthly amount. It's actually saying, hang on, we need to change this. We need to work on your budget. We need to see where your money is going. You need to build up emergency. It's about getting the person whole again. Not just saving
money on your loans, right? It's about healing yourself financially.
And that's what you appreciate and understand.
Yes.
The holisticness of what the operation entails.
Correct.
You have a you have a mental concern, an emotional concern, a social concern, addictive behavior concern.
Yes.
There's all of these other elements that is causing the person to relapse continuously.
Correct.
And that is where your interest lies. It's
Yes.
about understanding the whole, and that's what you circulating
Exactly.
around. The idea of we are human, and there's the wholeness of the operation. That is what attracted you to operating on this level. So thank you for expounding, going into the different modules of operation as far as debt review and debt counseling is concerned. I want to know, as far as the listeners go, the importance to know that you and EduDebt are not a call center. I know you
Correct,
sort
yeah.
of highlighted
So
that
just to
quite
clear
a
the
few
confusion, so
times already.
yes. So the Financial Educator is the name of the holistic financial education company. We split financial education. EduDebt is our subsidiary that if we must refer someone to debt counseling, that we then use that arm of the group, right? And the approach that we've taken with that is what has given us the accolades as the best newcomer. Also, if you look at just something, we did some industry stats, and it found that 60% of people who sign up for debt counseling fall off in the first 3 months. So if 100 people, 60% of people who sign up for debt counseling fall off in the first 3 months. And there's a number of reasons. From they didn't understand they were signed up, or they didn't restructure their budget the way they're supposed to, or perhaps they were misled. A number of reasons, right? What we found with us is that out of all our clients that we've had so far in the year, we've only had one client miss a payment. And even so, we got their client to pay in that payment afterwards. So we have 100% payment rate for the last year, as opposed to the industry that has a 60% fall off. So if 100 people sign up, 3 months later, only 40 is left. That's the industry stat, right? So we believe that because while they're staying on, we make sure that what you sign up, you understand what it is, how it works, make sure that you rework your budget so you can afford the payment, and that you do change your habits. So that's why we also follow up with our clients in the first year on a quarterly basis to make sure they keep in track. From there onwards, we then track them. We say, how's it going? We check, okay, you got your raise. Where's this extra money going to? So we work actively with our clients. It's a continuous. And for that, we have our financial coaches that works and effectively acts as the financial coach that, yes, you've saved the money, but now create the actions, draw up your budget. What does it look like? Start doing this, etc. And
So it's
that
not only a payment solution plan, but it's also a habit and behavioral rehabilitation program as well.
100%. And that is the approach that has made us different, that we're looking at a full-on coaching plan.
It's very interesting. If I am to consider someone's successful recovery, financial recovery, do you have any of that conversations or stories, or are you not yet as long in the as the financial?
So what we don't, we've had, let's call it stories where we saved houses. We literally within 2 days the court was going to come and fetch somebody's house and
2
attach.
days?
Within 2 days they were going to make the judgment. The client didn't understand what the gravity of the situation was. So we have a complete,
That later can be
because people
Shake,
bury
shake.
their head in the sand. Yes, up to the very last time. Because some people just bury their head in the sand and think, okay, so but I said, did you understand what the consequences that you could lose house? So I've saved people's houses. I've had where the so-called repo man was knocking on the door coming to fetch the car, right? That's also another thing, that if you understand your rights, understand somebody can't just come knock on your door and say they're going to take your car, but they do it in very sneaky ways, right? So, had we clients, otherwise a man by my door, got the man to take a hike, secured the payment of the car, got debt collectors off. Had people served by the sheriff, sorted out the sheriff, no longer a problem, right? So those are,
So you
yes,
go into the teeth of it all.
yes,
Personally, you and your team.
we have to, right? A lot of times people find in a situation, some good example, someone didn't know they had a balloon payment on their car. They didn't even know what the balloon payment was. Out of nowhere, somebody came to knock on the door saying that she needs to turn a car in because she's not paying a balloon payment.
And she thought that she's done. 7 years I'm paying this car, I'm finished.
Yes. Contact then a financial advisor. Anwar, you need to speak to my client. Spoke to Emil. I said, no, hang on, this guy can't just do this. I showed that there was errors in due process, and we got the whole court action overturned, and then managed to include it under the debt counseling, negotiate payments again.
Wow.
So you're never too far gone unless you've already got the judgment. But if you haven't got the judgment, there's no such. You can be in arrears. In some instances, people have been in arrears for 6, 7, 8 months. We'll still come back and negotiate successfully, right? So there's been instances, yes, that where clients have also said, Anwar, you know, the way you made the process feel so painless that they don't even feel the under debt because we restructured how they work. They will show them how you can work, what's left, because we make sure that you have enough money left with to live and pay the debt. By doing a thorough assessment, making sure that we don't underestimate your expenses, and then it turns out you can't afford to pay because we offered too high a payment. So we're very specific in making sure whatever we negotiate with the bank that we've gone through a proper budget based on tracking past expenses, based on tracking a realistic budget that we feel confident that the amount we offer to the creditors is affordable by the client. So you want to balance the affordability by the client as along with what the banks will feel to be acceptable. And that is where the trick comes in. We have to keep both parties happy, but if a client can only afford X, we only work with X. A lot of times the client can afford X, but in order to make the bank happy, say, okay, don't pay 10. If can you pay 12, then the bank will pay, okay, pay 12. 3 or 4 months later, they realize, but that extra 2,000 is squeezing them. So that is the type of detail we go in. Hence having basically 100% of our clients up to date.
And you know exactly how far you can stretch the banks. So look, I am signaled now for another break. As the conversation gets more interesting, we do ask you to send through your questions, send through your queries, because this is financial education in action. Stay tuned.
Brought to you by the Financial Educator, helping you take charge of your money and your future. Visit thefinancialeducator.co.za.
All right, and we welcome you back, alhamdulillah. So, look, we went through quite a bit of conversation, Brother Anwar Barendse, giving us the insights of how do we become debt-free, but not only the restructuring, repayment solutions, but also about how our habits have to be restructured.
Correct.
Our mindsets, our emotions, our spending habits. And that's why I loved and appreciated the build-up before we got to this point. We spoke about all the inner works first. Some conversations and, or rather a powerful question came through. We're going to jump on that one straight after we go through just what we designed for the evening. So I'm going to ask the listeners just to tag in with me. We're just going to go through another 1 or 2 important points. I do also want to ask Brother Anwar, just before we continue with this question, the queries for contact details, information, how to get through to you has been requested a few times.
Yes.
We do want to know. Can you just share with us very quickly once again?
So I think the easiest way to get hold of me, and this is actually my own WhatsApp number, so feel free to send me a WhatsApp. It is 082 776 8330. So I'll repeat again, so 082 776 8330. That 076 8330. That is my direct number. Send me a WhatsApp. It's the best way to make contact. From there we can continue. The reason why I repeat it, because I've seen a few clients at her and they said every time they struggle to get the contact details because we just run through it. So just one more time, 082 776 8330. They can of course also go onto our website if they want to email us. That is www.thefinancialeducator.co.za. But feel free to WhatsApp me directly.
Thank you so much for sharing, Brother Anwar. Now, if we want to understand debt review removal, there are so many advertisements about removing debt review. How does this actually work?
So I've been seeing there's a growing trend for certain companies advertising something called debt review removal. Now let's first ask, why are the companies applying for debt review removal when what we just discussed, where you can see that doing debt counseling or debt review can be a benefit where you share? Well, Firstly, you have people that maybe were placed under debt review and it was not what they thought it was, right? And they were either misled or never understood it and they want to be removed. It can also be someone that maybe feels that they are being restricted by it, because the one thing when you are under debt review, you have done debt counts, you cannot take out more debt. So some people after a while, they want to go back to old habits and want to take out new debt and they think, oh, I can have this debt review removed.
Yeah.
So the problem is that according to the National Credit Regulator, you cannot advertise debt review removal. Why? Right? Debt review can only be removed in two specific circumstances. A, you've paid off all your debt, or B, your income has increased and you can now afford to pay your normal.
You can prove that.
Yeah, and you can prove it in the court. Now, even if that is the case, the problem is you find many companies are charging people upfront, sometimes up to 10,000 Rand, without having any clear idea whether or not that person even qualifies. So they would collect the money, right? And the person they can't afford, we collect it over a few months. Then they say, oh, sorry, we couldn't get it removed.
Yeah.
Or even worse, incidents already where they go onto the system and fraudulently changes the person's status. So what we have found is there's been many organizations saying, oh, we're going to do debt review removal, we're going to remove you off debt review, so 6,000, 7,000, 8,000. That is, I'm going to stress now, highly illegal and completely against the NCR circular that came out, where you cannot charge upfront for any form of debt review removal. Now, can you apply for debt removal? Yes, you can, but that entails either you have paid off all your debt and you can get your clearance certificate, or your income has increased and you can now afford to pay what you're supposed to.
Wow.
That assessment is done upfront, but somebody cannot charge you having not even done the work. So if you see anybody talking about debt review removal and charging amount upfront, understand that that is, according to the NCR, not legal, and there's the circulars, there's the letters that specifically came out targeting that. Because why? They're targeting people that are vulnerable, that are somehow feel stuck, and I use it in debt review, and they want to take out credit even though they shouldn't be taking out credit, and then they are
like you said, going back to the old habits,
and then they are praying and saying
exactly, and the internal.
Exactly. So I just want to make people very aware, because it's becoming more and more prevalent. Why often you find this debt review removal company not even registered with the National Credit Regulator. So because there's so many people that are financially distressed, you find a lot of opportunists. Now, that's not to say there aren't good companies, because there are, but the problem is wherever, and this is unfortunately what we found in this industry, that there are many players, some big, some small, that don't necessarily have the client's interest at heart first. They're actually thinking just about making money and exploiting the client. And what that does is, when the clients actually do need help, they are very skeptical about getting proper help. And this is the direct feedback I've gotten from clients that I've met face to face. And we're very skeptical because you heard this story, that story, but I can see the way you are doing is very difficult. You're actually looking at me and helping me, as opposed to exploiting me, just trying to make a buck. And that is what we want to do. We want to be there for those clients that are distressed, that don't want to feel that when they're dealing with someone that we are trying to exploit them for our benefit, but we are actually really helping them. That we're not hitting some call center script, going through the motions just so we can put a number on the board for the day, right? What we do is to actually change households, change families, and help people get a way where they can actually see a way forward, right? Because there are so many people, never mind the small girls, they are sitting in such deep holes, not knowing where to turn to. Families are being torn apart, divorces, some even worse things happening out there. And I think that with the right approach to helping people with their debt, that this can actually make a difference. Call me idealistic, but that is how I feel about it.
And I like the timing also, because the time of year we're talking about it is now after the silly season. It's after all the festive things. It's the longer month before the payout of our first salary for 2026.
Yes.
So it's such a serious conversation. And I like the term that you use, it's a very real conversation, right? And what I picked up on is, it's quite a few things as you were talking, because so many people prefers to not have the debt review conversation. So many people do not prefer to talk about the credit facilities and how far and how deep they are in. And the holes that they, like you said now, the repercussions and the consequences of families that are torn apart, of divorces that are happening, of family feuds, and so many other avoidable challenges. And then action being taken earlier.
And I'll throw in another one in. Like I said, when we negotiate lower payments, we are cutting the interest rates. There are some people who have now said, you know what, I want to actually get rid of riba out of my life. I've taken on loans.
There are other progressing steps they also take. That's amazing.
So because we cut the interest, we're actually cutting the riba. You can say, I'm done with this. I'm done with interest, but now I'm still paying it. Is there a way I can, so we can say and even cut that riba so that you end up just paying the capital. So it's a way of getting out of the riba lifestyle as well. And there's more and more people who are becoming conscious of it because they see how that riba, how that interest destroys.
It's the barakah.
It eats the barakah. So whether you look at it from a spiritual, religious point of view or a pure mathematical view with no spiritual leaning, mathematically doesn't make sense that if you borrow 100 rand, you must pay back 200 rand. You didn't have 100 rand to begin with, now you must pay back double. Now multiply it by ever much.
Yeah. Now, there's one thing that's interesting here, and that's the first comment that came through.
Yes.
This person says, Anwar, I have so much anxiety listening to this program. That's a difficult thing to hear. Because this is the realness of money talk.
This is it. That's a real person. That's a real feeling. That's a real motion. That is a real...
Guys, I'm not telling you a word of a lie. This conversation is causing me anxiety, Anwar. You are giving me anxiety. So, what can you say to a person? I mean, I want to go through because I see I have some time left still, Mr. Lazy people around me. But what I see here is that there is a real question. 8, 6. Okay. So, look, we have about 4 minutes. Okay. Now, I know that we had some other thing about our... Okay, let's first talk about...
Let's do the questions. Let's go to the listeners.
The last one that I have here, it's a shorter one. Okay, that we can maybe conclude on this one. I'm just going to go through the question quickly. I'm a single parent working full time to make ends meet. I had a rude awakening when I drew up my debt on a spreadsheet. Please advise on paying off car sooner, including the balloon payment at the end. Is it better to use up all my savings for the balloon payment due in a few months?
Okay, so let me answer it. So the first step in doing that plan is first to get the list of the debt, what you owe, the amount outstanding, what the repayment is, what the interest rate is. If you have multiple debts, you're going to list all of those, right? Then you're going to do your budget and you're going to see how much excess money you have available. If you do have excess money, right? If you do have excess money, whether it be a lump sum, etc., you're going to say, okay, do I put it towards my debt or do I save it? Now, in this instance, she is saying, I have savings, should I put it all towards my balloon payment?
Yeah.
Now, we have to be very careful. And this is sometimes, yes, we want to clear the debt, but we also need to have an emergency fund. If we use all our savings to clear that and not have any emergency fund, what happens if the geyser burst or this happened? Then we have to run and take our debt again.
Yeah.
So what you need to do is you actually need to look at what is my budget, what is available, what I can prioritize, and you want to pay off extra towards your debt, but you also want to make sure that you have an emergency fund so you don't back into further debt. So it is a balancing act of two.
Absolutely.
So in this instance, I always say never ever use all your savings to pay your debt because then
you... Don't break the bank.
Don't break the bank. But if you have extra savings, use at least part of it to bring down, especially if it is high interest debt. You want to target your credit card, store cards first. Now, if in that situation you have anxiety because you're struggling to make payments, that is a different conversation because then we have to speak a bit more in detail in terms of what we can do.
Today's conversation, for example.
Yes.
So I would request that for this particular individual, if they are serious, give a hypothetical example with some spreadsheets, with some numbers. Maybe we can run through with that next week.
But also remember also is that we offer a free assessment to someone and we'll tell you what is the best route to take. And a lot of times it's not even debt counseling. All we do is just fix a budget, work out the plan, see where we can get extra, and then work a plan towards it.
Absolutely amazing. Now all the conversations are coming here, Anwar, but we are going to keep these questions for next week, because we are on the brink of Maghrib. I already see a 120k debt. I already see informative topic. I already see a phone number. So let's get into some of these questions in opening up next week, inshallah.
Yeah.
Absolutely interesting.
I think-
Brother Anwar.
So I think just for the one guest
are some
again,
phone
let us
numbers
ask
here,
for the
Of
phone
course.
number once again. The best way to get hold of me, send me a WhatsApp 082 776 8330. That's 082 776 8330. That is my personal number. Send me a WhatsApp, send me a voice note. I will respond first thing during the business day or during the course of the business, and we can discuss it. Or alternative, go onto our website www.thefinancialeducator. We also have further details here, but feel free to contact me on 082 776 8330.
Excellent. I've sent the number of Anwar to those that have requested it. I'm going to take some of these questions down and we're going to go through it.
Yeah.
Some of them next week, inshallah. Brother Anwar, shukran very much.
Afwan.
I'll see you next week, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Have a brilliant week and thank you for giving us of your time.
It's a pleasure.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So for Maghrib, we'll come back more of Money Matters when we return.